Okay, world, hello and welcome to the third episode of Peace of Mind, Peace for the World. And today I am with Stef Cybichowski. I hope I have the name right. Nice. And today's episode is a bit different. We will just put in some issues that are now present in the world, and Stef, he will answer it in a fun way, in a fluffy way, whatever shows up. But first of all, I want to introduce Stef a bit, or how I met him. I met him during the program of Michael Neal called Creating the Impossible, and he actually inspired me to set the goal for myself to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And after this, the idea of this video series showed up. So I owe you a lot, Stef. And could you just introduce yourself to the people who do not know you yet?
Hi, world. Hi, Sebastian. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity to have a chat with everybody and you. It's interesting you say that it was me that inspired you. I think when you told me that you're creating the impossible project was to win the Nobel Peace Prize, I think that absolutely blew me away. Absolutely. And it really inspired me. It made my impossible project feel quite small. So I just got to say thanks for that. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. Okay, a little bit about me. Okay, so I have been coaching probably for about 5 years. I'm also a working musician, and I do some work with a design studio as well. So I've got quite a varied background. But coaching for 5 years, initially with NLP and with hypnotherapy, CBT, that kind of thing. And I have to say that I was becoming quite, I guess, probably disenchanted with the technique approach to coaching. When people came to me with some really, really traumatic issues, it kind of felt probably a little bit inauthentic of me to try and pick a technique off the shelf. Now, that might have been due to my not really sort of understanding NLP to the level I should do, but whatever, I felt as though I wasn't giving them my best. So my introduction to the three principles came through my reading of The Inside Out Revolution by Michael Neal, and that really landed with me, because what it said in that book was that our thinking gets in the way, and when we have a settled mind, when we have a clear mind, we have access to all sorts of wisdom that can solve problems, can be creative, can help with relationships, and basically make our lives a lot easier. And that really resonated with me when I was thinking about my coaching, and I wanted to find out more. So I basically read the book about 3 times. I did various programs with Michael, and now sort of a couple of years really after my introduction to the Inside Out Revolution, I've become a Super Coach Academy transformative coach, and I'm so lucky this year to be one of Michael's apprentices. So my 3 principles experience has been only for 2 years, but it's been massively, it's such a huge learning curve and understanding curve, and I have to say my life has totally changed. It has totally changed in the last year. So that's enough about me. That's quite a lot about me.
Lovely.
Yeah, so quite a lot about me. But yeah, I am very interested in this discussion today. world peace is not something that I have specifically spent a long time reflecting on. So I shall be interested to see what comes up between us.
Yeah, I will challenge you. That's for sure.
Oh,
That's for sure. Okay, so the first thing is, just put it out. So, what came to my mind first was racism. For example, the racism that is going on in United States with the police and the black people. Do you know something about it? And if not, in general, where do you see is the problem lying in racism?
Okay, I guess no. These are what occurs to me is basically my what I see about the situation in the light of the principles. So what I see today might not be what I see next week or a year's time. So and what I'm doing is, I guess I'm trying to point to an understanding of the situation rather than say this is definitely what the situation is. So having said that, with racism, I guess there are two things that come to mind. In as much as when people have an understanding of how life works, when they have an understanding about how their mind works, they would see things a lot differently. And what I'm trying to say here is that when we think in our innocence that our fear, our happiness, our well-being is coming from things outside of us, our circumstances, we try desperately to control those circumstances. And in the case of racism, I think for me, it feels like certain sections of the community feel threatened by other sections of the community because they're different, because they feel that they present a threat to maybe to their circumstances. It feels quite common to me that people who see other parts of society coming into their lives and changing things, changing their circumstances, they feel that that is something that they have to do something about. They feel that if they can do something about that situation and control it in some way, it will make them feel better. And I'm guessing that's quite a natural thing to think. In our innocence, you know, we believe that situation outside of us is causing our pain, causing our worry for the future, our worry for our children or whatever. Once we understand that the circumstances are not what is creating our experience, once we understand that our lives or what we think of our lives is not being affected by the circumstance. It's by our thinking, our interpretation of what's happening, which is creating fear in us. Once we understand that, it gives the whole situation a different complexion. It's a little bit like in my mind, it's sort of, we are all part of the same energy. Okay, when we break ourselves down, when we look into an electron microscope and we look at what we're made of energy. The wall, the chair is made of the same energy. My pet cat is made of the same energy as me. You are made of the same energy as me. So it occurs to me that to be frightened of another person that is coming into my life, to be frightened of somebody that's different, has different upbringing, different skin color, different religion. Once we know that we're made of the same energy, and once we know that actually it's my thoughts about that is creating the fear in me, I may as well be prejudiced against my cat as be prejudiced against another person. I may as well be prejudiced against, this desk. That's how, for me, that's how that understanding translates. It feels to me that silly. Once we know that we are one, and once we know that it's us that's making ourselves crazy about it, it just feels that silly.
Talking about silly, I have a funny story that I had with my brother. He was kind of sad, kind of in a down period, and I was walking with him along some fields, and he said, like, I know that it's my thought. I know that I'm just thinking it, and that's why I'm feeling it, but I really cannot see it. And it was like, why is it my thought? And I was like, okay, you say like that, for example. Okay, now I lost myself. I really lost myself.
Okay, it happens to me all the time.
I totally lost the story.
Okay, so he was walking along feeling really low.
Yeah.
And he knew it was his thinking.
Yeah. What was the point of the story? That's the question. We probably have to edit it.
Okay, that's right.
No worries. Actually, the story was that that he was taking it very seriously. Now I'm back. He was taking his thoughts very seriously, and he could not step back. And I was like, look, if I go to this grass and I tell this grass is a frog, does not make it real. It really does not make it real. Or this coin, if I say it's 500,000 pounds, it's not real. If I think it does not make it real. And you don't have to take your thoughts so seriously. And that's what I see when you were talking about, that we take our thoughts too seriously, and we believe that what we are thinking is reality, when in fact it's just some thoughts and they're so random.
Absolutely. And that is the interesting part for me, is that when we can see just how real it looks to people, when we can see how their consciousness, their special effects department is making it appear so real to them, that they're feeling everything, they're feeling fear, they're sweating, they're getting depressed. When we see that, it makes us feel compassion, doesn't it? And I think that's the same thing when, going back to what you were saying about people being racist. I mean, obviously there are some situations that are very traumatic and very, very difficult, but in some, in some very minor altercations you might have between two people, if the person that has some prejudice has no understanding, but the person who is being prejudiced against understands how thought works and how their experience is created, he can have compassion for the other guy, and he can stay neutral to that situation, and he can, with his, gonna get fluffy now, with fluffy alert, okay?
Woo!
there's something about when we know what's going on and we create a space with our energy, okay? It's called, I think Michael calls it transformative presence sometimes. Mm-hmm. Not saying this happens all the time, but I've noticed in circumstances where there have been potential for argument, when one person is aware of their own thinking and they're aware of the other person's thinking, that space that they create with that awareness and that consciousness can often defuse the situation. They don't feel that they have to react to any, sort of any arguments that are coming their way, or any accusations that are coming their way. And somehow that changes the energy in that situation. It makes it less explosive, if you like. And that, do you know what? That is one of the things that gives me hope for world peace, because when we have, say what I think Michael's talked about this, when we have one member of the family, like a parent maybe, that has the understanding and the whole family, the rest of the family don't, it changes the dynamic, because his understanding creates a space. His reaction to a situation creates a space that changes the energy in that situation. And if you can have that in a family, you can have it in a business, a company, an organization. You can have it in an army. You can have it in a government. That for me, that shift in energy opens doors, and it creates the possibility of people, if they don't necessarily understand it, then it creates the possibility of them being able to have a different thought about the situation. And that is what it's all about. That was fluffy. Was that fluffy enough?
That was fluffy, and I think I was a bit distracted, because there's something with your earphone, and it's like all the time. All the time, but
oh dear. Sorry.
No worries. It's totally fine. what I'm hearing is that the one thing that you said at the start, like this that we're innocently creating, it also comes when we get together with people, that we're seeing the innocence in what people are doing and how they're behaving. We see that they're kind of lost because they see reality as real, as we always do. And if you can be there for other people and give them the space and say, hey, it's fine, nothing is wrong with you, you just got caught up right now, then people can relax and they can come back. And I think that's the biggest hope. Then we don't have to really talk about this stuff. We can just be with people. I talked with Katja in the first interview about it, that just being with people and bringing this love and understanding. And I think it all comes down to this love and understanding. When we feel it for ourselves, when we feel love for other people, everything changes, and we tend to connect with people automatically. I had one instance when I talked to the first time to Ankush, when I was walking through London, and at the start of the day I talked to Ankush, and then I was so lost in the city, 10 million people, and I felt so alone. And I was walking through London, and I went to the Buckingham Palace and felt like that the Buckingham Palace will make me happy. It did not. And then I walked back, and at moment I realized, okay, I'm just lost right now. I'm not connected to my inner wisdom. And I realized, okay, if I just can accept it, it's fine. And I messed up in my mind, like everything that was like, I really like raged in my mind, but at one moment it was so ridiculous, and I lost it. I had to love, and I was so connected to the city. And the day was, I walked around for 9 hours in London, and after I finished the sightseeing, I went back to the train station. And as I walked there, one question that Ankush asked me came to my mind. It was, can I love this person? And I asked it, and I could love this person right in front of me. And I asked it for all the people I saw that day. They were, say, like, not so pretty. They were pretty. They were high, tall. They were like from different cultures, different religions. And I could answer this question every time with yes. And I felt so connected to life. And it was the second time that I felt such peace for people. And I didn't have to talk to people. I was just like sitting there in the station, looking at people, smiling at them, and seeing, yeah, we are already connected. How good can it be?
That is so cool. I had a similar experience. I think one of the first really big insights I had was I always had the thought that I felt most connected when I was on stage or when I was coaching. Those were the two areas. So instinctively, before I had the understanding, I felt that I needed to chase those situations before I could feel that connection. Okay. Now, it was the first week of Supercoach Academy in 2014, the first weekend, and Michael said something about chasing the dragon. Okay, something totally, totally different. But my mind, my wisdom took the word chasing, and it connected that. It made me realise at 4 o'clock in the morning that this is what I'm doing. I've been chasing this connection where all the time it was inside me. The connection is inside me. I've spent all my life thinking that there was only two places I could get this connection, and I was looking for it there. And all of a sudden, I realized that if I stopped making it about me when I talk to somebody, if I stop trying to analyze what they're thinking about me, what I'm going to say next, what they're going to think about what I'm saying, whether they like me or not, once I drop that, the connection is in me. It's already there. Exactly like you say. That once I drop my thinking, it doesn't matter about their thinking. Once I drop it, the connection is there. It's always there. Wow. And I did the same thing with you. I then went on a walk. I had this amazing experience of pure consciousness where I sat in Starbucks and I looked at the wallpaper. I was listening to the music, which was awful, and I was listening to the people around me, and all of a sudden I just felt this complete calm come over me, and this sense of beauty and love. The awful music all of a sudden was beautiful. The wallpaper, which was ripped, was beautiful. The people were. I've reflected on it since, and I think it was a glimpse of pure consciousness. I think it was one of those situations where I knew what it was to have no thinking and to just be able to feel the energy behind life, which coincidentally is love. I came away with it. It's love. This energy is love. So if we don't get in the way, we love everybody. Everybody. That's what we're made of. How fluffy is that? Yeah, and I tell you, Sebastian, from that day, my life changed. My relationships with everybody changed.
I can feel it. Yeah,
it really did. It was, my whole life changed from that day. Huge moment. I mean, I could talk about that for ages and ages and ages, but I know we don't have the time. One day, maybe. One day.
What I've seen throughout you speaking is always that we don't have to change the outside circumstances. We don't have to put structures on anything. When we see something inside of us, when we see that the love is already inside of us, then it changes everything, how we show up in life, how we treat other people. When we see this love for ourselves, it's like, how better can it get?
Yeah. It's. You can see that. I can tell that. It is awesome. I also had another insight where a very dear friend of mine was telling me that she always had a problem accepting compliments and accepting people showing love to her. And in that instant, I had a mental image of us all. We're just swimming in a sea of energy. We're all sharing this energy. And it struck me. I said, we don't get the choice of being able to accept people's love. It's there. It is already there. We don't get to say, no, I don't want that today. And we don't get the choice of giving it either. It's when we just let it be, it's an amazing feeling. It goes back to what you were saying about seeing people and thinking, could I love this person? Yeah, of course I can. I already do. I am already, that person is me. It's so awesome. It just stuns me sometimes. It really does. It really does.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Love talking to you. I think we definitely have to do this again. For now, I think that's a great ending with this beautiful feeling of love. And I literally enjoyed every minute of our talk. And it was a pleasure to hear your stories and to feel it, not just to listen to the words, but really like to get soaked into this beautiful energy, this beautiful feeling of love. So thank you very much, Stef. And if people feel like they want to connect with you, what's the best way to do this?
The best way to do that is on Facebook. There aren't that many people with the same second name as mine. So that's pretty easy. And also I have, my email address is Stefan Cyb, that's STEFANCYB @gmail.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with everybody. You know, with the world, definitely. Oh, and I just thought a thought came to mind about world peace.
Let it out.
Okay. There's a saying by Victor Hugo. It goes something like, all the forces of the world are not so powerful as an idea whose time has come. And I honestly think that the three principles understanding, its time has come.
It has.
Thank you, Sebastian. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat. And I really want to do this again.
Yeah, again.
Okay.
Was a pleasure. So,
okay.
Out to the world. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And yeah, in 2 weeks' time, we will come up with another topic that you can, just explore with us. And yeah, have a great time until then. And yeah, we love you all. We feel it. And yeah, just go out and have some beautiful connections with people. So, bye-bye and see you soon.
Bye-bye.